Harari begins by transporting us to the emergence of Homo sapiens roughly 70,000 years ago, during what he calls the cognitive revolution. Before this pivotal shift, our species was just one among many human-like creatures roaming the earth. With the advent of complex language and the power to share imagined realities, stories of gods, myths, tribes, and lore, sapiens developed an unprecedented capacity for collective belief. This ability enabled massive cooperation among strangers and set our ancestors apart from every other species. In Harari's account, this breakthrough laid the groundwork for everything that would follow, setting humanity on a trajectory from obscure hunter-gatherers to planetary architects. The mirage of the agricultural promise. The transition to farming around 12,000 years ago, what Harari dubs the agricultural revolution, appears at first glance an unmistakable leap forward. Yet Harari argues that it was more a trap than a triumph. Farming led humans to harder labor, disease, and less varied diets even as populations exploded. Gone were the roaming foragers' 30 to 45-hour workweeks and diverse meals. In their place came grains, labor-intensive fields, contagion, and social inequality. This systemic shift from nomadic equality to settled stratification accelerated human dominance, but at the cost of individual well-being. Forging the imagined orders. With settled societies came money, empire, and religion, new imagined orders that unified large communities of people. According to Harari, these constructs represent shared myths, systems built from collective belief rather than tangible facts. Money, for instance, doesn't exist outside of trust. Empires extend governance across populations by embedding shared laws, culture, and bureaucracy. World religions offered moral frameworks that could span villages, tribes, and continents. These imagined realities enabled large-scale cooperation far beyond what earlier humans could manage. The capitalist and imperial engine. Drawing connections to global systems, Harari puts forth the scientific revolution, starting around 500 years ago, as a turning point where humanity admitted ignorance for the sake of discovery. With that humility came empirical methods that fueled rapid innovation and justified imperial ambitions. Scientific inquiry melded seamlessly with capitalism, whose creed demanded reinvestment and continual growth. In this symbiosis, empire supplied resources and markets, science delivered power, and capitalism fueled ambition. Together, they transformed localized societies into an integrated global civilization. The factory opening humanity's future. The Industrial Revolution emerged as the engine of modernity. As manufacturing and technology scaled, so did consumption, creating a feedback loop where people needed more to buy more. Harari highlights how consumerism became almost religious in its own right, mandating growth not just to exist but to thrive within the economic system. Whether mass agriculture churning out food or global markets spinning profit, humans became both creators and prisoners of a system that spun faster, demanded more, and changed who we were. The illusion of progress. Despite monumental technological leaps, Harari questions whether these equate to greater human happiness. Historical accounts suggest modern individuals are not substantially happier than Stone Age humans. Many advances, luxuries turned necessities, serve to complicate life rather than simplify it. Work becomes more specialized, stress more insidious, and contentment more elusive. Humanity's comforts may have increased, but so too have the burdens, both mental and societal. Triumph, tragedy, and responsibility. Harari doesn't shy from pain and suffering in his sweeping narrative. He traces how human expansion decimated Neanderthals and triggered mass extinctions of megafauna across continents. He also mourns the subjugation of animals through industrial farming and the inequities seeded throughout history. Success for sapiens often meant devastation for others, wildlife, other species, and even ourselves. The moral calculus of progress must acknowledge this grim ledger. Imagined orders under scrutiny. As science progressed, Harari points out, it both enabled and undermined earlier myths. Liberal humanism asserts individual rights, religions propose moral absolutes, capitalism heralds endless growth. Yet biology, genetics, neuroscience, each challenges these stories. The self appears less fixed, power less absolute, and meaning less universally binding. Harari contends that modern science has revealed how deeply human behavior is shaped by hormones and genes, just like any animal. This dual role places us at an unprecedented crossroads. Can we believe in our own stories even after science unmasks their foundations? Toward the next frontier. In closing, Harari turns his gaze to the future, arguing that the very revolutions that shaped humanity may soon transform it beyond recognition. Biotechnological and artificial intelligence advancements open the door to engineered life, synthetic consciousness, and potentially godlike mastery over our species. Sapiens stands poised between biology and choice, between being shaped by evolution and shaping its own destiny. The challenge lies in unwritten choices, whether to serve imagination or reason, discipline or domination, coexistence or extinction. A final reflection. In Sapiens, Yuval Noah Harari weaves a narrative that is sweeping yet intimate, philosophical yet concrete. He frames human history around four revolutions: cognitive, agricultural, unification, and scientific, each unleashing forces that elevated humanity even as they shackled us. We dominate the globe through shared fictions, systemic complexity, and relentless innovation, yet we remain shaped by biology and haunted by ethical dilemmas. As the species that turned into gods, we are now tasked with asking profound questions about happiness, responsibility, justice, and purpose.